How we doing? Good to see you. Thank you for being here. I could have had. So let's do this. Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Cary Rotary Club. Hello, everyone. I just want to welcome everyone. You can hear me. Thank you, everyone. It is so wonderful to have us all together in one room as Bill pointed out in a meeting not long ago, we're not playing Hollywood Squares anymore. So this is really wonderful to see everyone here. Looks like you're finding your places. And we will begin our night's event.
Thank you, Renee. Could we, for 1 second, there's always one person we can count on to execute flawlessly on these very important occasions, these festivities that really, to me, are a rite of passage from one year to another. And I would just like to give a shout out to Renee Spell for her hard work. Thank you so much. It's always good to know. It's very good for a past president to know. I was just referring to my badge, if y'all haven't noticed. I was a little quick to the draw, I've been pointed out here. But a lot of work goes into this, and it's very much appreciated. These events are special. They're meant to be special, and it's to always know you can count on Renee to execute and to carry through on all the things that need to have done to make these things happen is fabulous. So Renee, thank you so much on behalf of the club. Thank you. And so I'm going to do this again, maybe a little louder, as we normally do. I'd like to welcome everybody formally to this evening's banquet. It's going to be a special one. It's going to be an exciting one. A lot of ground to cover, but I'm fairly confident we should, by about 11 o'clock, be able to conclude the meeting tonight. So please bear with us as we've got a lot of ground to cover. Would like to welcome all the guests tonight as well. This club would not be what it is without the support of family, friends, spouses, significant others, whatever it is, it just wouldn't happen. I can speak personally to that, and it means a lot to see the kind of support that we have here this evening. So thank you all for being here. I'd like to now invite up Gail Cabrera, who will lead us in our invocation, Pledge of Allegiance, and the singing of God Bless America. Gail?
Good evening, everyone. If we could please bow our heads. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for blessing us with this beautiful day and for our Rotarian leaders that have graciously guided us through a year of uncertainty and change. We ask that you will continue to bless the newly installed leaders tonight with the wisdom and the guidance to continue to make us better. Please bless all members and those who have joined us tonight to support our new officers in this upcoming year. Please bless the hands that have prepared our food and may it nourish our bodies. In this we pray, amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. God bless America. Stand beside her. Through the night with light from above, from the mountains to the prairies, to the ocean, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. Thank you, Gail.
And so now what happens is we will eat some salad. And then from there, we'll receive instruction on trickling out to the buffet and have a nice dinner. We'll be able to visit with our colleagues and friends and guests. And then around 7:45 or so, the festivities for the evening will start. Enjoy your meals, everybody. Thank you. Session. Everybody, will begin tonight's program in about 2 minutes. So if you need to visit the chocolate area or any other area, you might want to do it now. We'll go ahead and get this program going. Thank you. Okay. We are ready to begin tonight's very special program. I am so excited. I am fired up. We're going to have a fabulous evening. We're going to celebrate. We're going to recognize, and we're going to turn to the future. To me, over the last several years, I joined Rotary in 2016, and these dinners, these banquets are amazing. They mean a lot. It means a lot to our history that began in 1964. And tonight is a continuation of the foundation that's been built by all the great people that have been a part of this club. And so it gives me great pleasure as we move into our club business portion of tonight. First, let me recognize, I love the picture on the screen. Everybody remembers this was at the last in-person, I believe, chili dinner we had. And it means so much to all of us. But I think more than that, it means what it symbolizes, what it means to the people that this work impacts. And that's what it's all about. That's why we're here. That's why we're Rotarians. We're here to make a difference. And that's a great example of it. The next part of this evening is always special because bringing in new members to a club like ours, any club, is critically important to the continuation of the vitality, the ideas, the difference of opinion, quite honestly, that people have. That helps clubs be great. And I couldn't be any more thankful than to have had this past year the folks that we brought on board. Recognition of our new members in our club. If you talk about quality, I think we graded out at 100. And so we've got Shana Filter, Kevin Peach, Raj Ganesh, and Gail Cabrera as new members of our club for Rotary year 2020-2021. These folks, all in their own way, have contributed to our success this year, each in their own way. And I personally thank them for that. And I know when our new president comes on board, he'll be calling on not only them, but all of us to bring more people like them to be part of this club. I love these pictures. They're just fabulous. We now move to the recognition of past presidents. I got to tell you, my first dinner, banquet dinner, was in 2016, and it didn't register with me what a past president badge meant at the time, quite honestly. But it does now, for sure. It does now. But as we reflect as a club, think about all the great people that have, excluding myself, of course, but all the great people that have served in leadership with this club, beginning in 1964. Who was our first president? It was Dick Ladd. That's exactly right. Dick Ladd was our first president. Who was our second president? Ralph Ashford. Ralph, still a member of this club, is vital to this club as anybody else that could be. And this is important to me because this is how I think clubs are built, because you've got to have a foundation, you've got to have a fabric of people that can continue the legacy of what you began and what your vision was 57 years ago. And so as we reflect on our past presidents, you can take a look. I know it might be a little difficult to see, but you know who you are. You know who they are. And these are the people that have got us to where we are today. We wouldn't be here without them. And it's so important to recognize their contributions to the club. And I wish there was a way we could spend a couple minutes to talk about each one. We can't do that. Bob told me I can't do that. So, Bob,
You're on the clock.
Yeah. So, in any event, I would like to recognize and give a big round of applause to all the past presidents over the years that have led us to where we are today. Thank you so much. And so I've been described as a person who maybe procrastinates a little bit every now and again, but not by design or because I want to. This year was sort of special in a lot of different ways. I got to tell you, my year leading up to this role as your president could not have prepared me any better than what it was. Let me just tell you, I'm not sure what the title is currently, but immediate past president Reggie Scales was somebody who took me under his wing very early on in the process. I was right behind Reggie, and he kept me abreast. He kept me involved as my role as president-elect. And as an incoming president, it's vitally important for that. Reggie never was short with his time. And I had a lot of questions. I had a lot of calls. Reggie always took the time to answer the questions that I had. And I will be forever grateful for that. Let's also remember that Reggie took this club to heights that it had never been before. And it was most unfortunate that in February or March of 2020, we had this little situation come up that probably would have derailed some clubs. Didn't derail this club. And why was that? Well, it's because of our leader. Reggie Scales. He wouldn't allow it. He got the board together immediately and talked about the issues at hand, and we made some difficult decisions that we had to make on behalf of the club and all of our membership. But Reggie was always proactive and made sure we did the right thing. We communicated with our membership so they knew what was going on. And I learned a lot. You may not have noticed it this past year, but I really did. And I give my ultimate thanks to Reggie because I wouldn't have been prepared as I would have been otherwise. And it's not easy. You don't know until you actually take on the position of president. I think all past presidents will tell you that. But Reggie, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for all you've done for this club in the past president, and all you're doing in the future. I will say this, Reggie is the chairman, president, El Jefe, as I call him, of the Charitable Foundation, and we've got a wonderful board. And I'm looking forward to be a part of that, Reggie, as the new year comes into place. I will take this moment right now to recruit. We are looking for some people that might want to be a part of our charitable foundation, our club charitable foundation. Reggie will be the president, is the president now, acting president, formal president, July 1. And if you're interested or would like to know more, please contact Reggie. He will be happy to talk with you. I know we've got some good things going there, and there's a lot of great things that are going to happen this next year with Bob and Reggie and the whole team. So I can't wait for what the future holds, for sure. So with that, Reggie, could you please come up here for just a minute? Out of your chair, please. Yes.
We had this covered up. One of my last acts as president, I thought it was pretty brilliant, but let me find out. Yes. So.
Reggie, I'd like to formally present you with the gavel. While it's a year late, the heart is still as strong as ever, and congratulations on a terrific year as president of the Cary Rotary Club. We're so proud of you and thankful. I have one other thing. Now, Reggie, your banner. You need this as well. That's your banner from your Rotary. Thank you so much. Thank you for all you do. Yes. One more time for Reggie Scales. And now we turn our attention to two very important people who really have become the biggest part of this club. And it's interesting to me as I look at this, because these are folks that not only served their club in such a fabulous fashion, but they also served Rotary, the district, for example. Being a district governor is a big deal. I mean, big deal. And we're so fortunate to have two members in our club to have been in this position. John Hatcher and Tim Mannix. How fortunate are we? This is a further example of why this club is what it is. It's these people. Tim Mannix you can't say enough. But I guess to me, again, I'll just leave you with this. These are people who sort of think beyond the present, beyond their local clubs. That's important. They were presidents. They did everything they could to help their clubs. But they were people who saw things beyond that. And they were in roles that really extended their impact beyond their local clubs. And so for that, I would like to congratulate and thank both John and Tim for all the work they've done over the years. Thank you so much. And now we get to the portion of tonight's program. It's an important time to properly recognize the hard work that several folks have put into our great club this year, whether it be organizing meetings, leading fundraisers, and service projects, while remaining fully engaged club members. It takes all time, it takes energy, time, and effort to make them successful. Your board of directors and committee chairs and their teams offer much of that energy and enthusiasm. And for that, I'm most appreciative. They have done a super job during this COVID year. Our impact has been felt locally and internationally. Each of the people that we will recognize and celebrate this evening have raised their hands to take on many different roles, all while demonstrating their total commitment to service above self, which is what it's all about. And so could I ask Paul Wesselkevich to come up and handle our attendance awards, which are always so important. Paul?
Thank you, President Scott. I'll just.
Okay, so I'll keep
Not
talking.
amphibious, I got it.
So if we take a look, you can see.
First of all, your attendance is important. If you're not with us, we sure do miss you. So we value whether you come to a meeting, did the Zoom thing, led a committee, worked out a committee and all that. Some of you will notice you have two certificates. One is for last year, one is for this year. So we're kind of catching up on the past and also taking care of the present. So what I'm going to do is read off from the 1 year awards. There's Kevin Beach, Bill Zidek, Harold Bennett. If you're here, raise your hand. And there you are. Thank you.
Awesome.
Rob Brooks.
There you go, Rob.
We're in the 2 year category. Gary. There you are.
Okay.
Blair Hatcher, our state treasurer, and John Hatcher is. I'll catch him up later on. Charles, Marley, and Bob Griffin. Yay. Past president. Somebody named Paul. Scott Snyder, 5 years. Ben, 6 years. be out here. John Big Fire, 21 years. If Bruce Howell was here, he would have gotten his 25th one. 34 years.
Thank you so much, Paul. What a great recognition. Thank you. Great job. That is fabulous. It's always important to recognize attendance, because to me, it goes to engagement. And it's a real tribute, and it's important to people. Why do I know that? Because I've been told it's important. So I'm a good listener, and for good reason. These are good Rotarians, and their values are in the right place. And what a great recognition to be a part of receiving an attendance award, for sure. And now we turn our attention to our Paul Harris Fellows for 2020, 2021. And I would ask Mary now to take over that part of the program. Mary?
Well, you're going to see on the slide Paul Harris Fellows who are receiving their first Paul Harris Fellow. And the first three, John Collins, Tyler Perkinson, and Sean Stiegel, are members of our club. And they received matching points from past district governor Jim Mannix to be able to get their first Paul Harris Fellow. None of them are here, so we will give them their certificates and their pins and their medallions at a later meeting. But at this time, I'd like Renee Spell to come up. Renee and her husband Jesse went ahead and they said, this is important. All of our other grandchildren are Paul Harris Fellows. We have 2 new grandsons and we need to make them Paul Harris Fellows. So Renee, I have for William Charles Allen and for Patrick James Spell, their certificate, their pin, and their medallion. And I have to do it now. And the other thing is Renee needs to stay here because she is receiving her Paul Harris Fellow +4 pin. Also, we have some people in the audience who have, some of you have received your Paul Harris Plus pins, and some of you have not. Paul Sossman, if you'll please stand. Paul received his Paul Harris Fellow +1. Is Ernie Faulkner here? Ernie, if you'll come forward, because I have your Paul Harris +3 pin. And then Bob Griffin, and I just gave Renee hers, and Travis Wright Colby have received their Paul Harris +4 pins.
Thank you, Mary. How awesome is that? I love the Paul Harris announcements. It's so important giving back to. And so, Mary, thank you for all that. And thank you to all the Paul Harris folks, because it's what helps keep the engine running. And it means so much. And I congratulate you all. Thank you. Could I ask if Dr. Arthur Cam could come to the podium? Hello, doctor. You're not in the principal's office yet. This is so cool. Everybody knows Mary and Art. They've done so much over the years for both our club, our foundation, and Rotary International. I think it's important to recognize all their contributions they have made. Most recently, a very special recognition, a worthy recognition, but one that is another demonstrated commitment of these two folks to Rotary and all it stands for. They have recently become Bequest Society members. And that's a big, big deal. Let me tell you why. Their commitment will establish the Mary Depew Cam and Dr. Arthur Cam endowments that will focus on the support of the peace centers. It will support basic literacy and education. It will support the environment. These are all important initiatives, engagements, impact areas that affect us all. With their generosity, you'll see that there is a picture, which I love. I love this picture too. It's a beautiful picture. And along with the recognition award. And this, I know in talking to both of them, the award's great, but this is very meaningful to them. But it's, I think, more meaningful to the people that they will be impacting down the road. And so how special is it for our club to be able to recognize two of our members? You're a member now, so. Well, two of our members to be a part of this very special club. And I want to be sure that we all can extend a debt of gratitude to Mary and to Art for all that you do for this club and for Rotary International as a whole. Thank you so much. Okay, we'll keep that for later. Thank you. Art can always be counted on. That's great. And let me also point out that many of us know, but some don't, that Mary is the current club chair-elect for the E-Club of Social Justice. And will soon be leading this new and important club in Rotary year 21-22. She still, of course, will, because we signed her to a contract, she can't leave our club. But she will be leading this E-Club initiative. It's a very, anybody that's talked to Mary knows it's a passion of hers. What a great impact you'll be for this club. Congratulations to you on your presidency next year. And now I'd like to recognize somebody who was very instrumental in one of our two fundraisers this year. If people can think back, you know, COVID hit March, whatever it was, April, May, June, a lot of stuff going on that we as a club had to consider as we thought about how were we going to raise money this year to help people that need help. It was frightening because we came pretty doggone close to saying that, you know, it may not happen. We might not be able to make this happen. We might not be able to have a golf tournament in 2020. And for good reason, because there was so many unknowns and, you know, it was just it was a tough time. But we had one person in our club who was very steadfast in their feelings about, listen, we can still do this. We can still make it happen. We can still raise money. We can still put on a golf. Maybe it's not like we've done in the past, but we can still do it. So let's try. And if it doesn't work, okay, it didn't work. Well, you know, this person got everybody on board very quickly. And there were a lot of fast thinking changes that were made to the program, to the golf tournament in particular. A new website was set up. There was an engagement of a team of people to help the golf committee put this thing on. At the end of the day, we had 82 people be a part of this golf tournament that was put on. And it was put on because of this individual who would not take no for an answer. The other thing is that he was able to get other people within our club to buy into the fact that we can do this. Yeah, I think about our title sponsors, certainly, Ernie, and others who said, you know what, we can do this. Let's do it. 82 people, we did the golf tournament. We made money when we thought we weren't going to make any money, or we didn't think we were going to have a tournament. And so it gives me great pleasure to recognize Chris Walker for our club presidential citation for distinguished service. Chris? Congratulations, Chris. Well done, my man. And listen, he's like, okay, we got to start promoting. He's already thinking about next August. So he's on fire. Thank you for all you did. Thank you for not letting us get derailed last year. You were the reason why. Thank you for that. Congratulations on your award, Chris. And now we get to talk about another member of ours who's special in a lot of different ways. We really got to see what this person is all about during our meandering of how exactly were we going to put on a chili dinner in the middle of a pandemic. This was another challenge we had this year. But guess what? Our club members rose to the occasion. There's a lot of different ways we could have gone. Rod will tell you. We had a lot of different calls and a lot of tough discussions about is it a go, no go? How do we do curbside? Do we do this? Do we do that? A lot of twists and turns. I mean, every week it was a different discussion. Last week's discussion was, this new week was a totally different week. So we changed every week. And one of our members who was instrumental in helping us put on a chili dinner that, quite honestly, I don't think it could have been duplicated, quite honestly. To think about how we went from in-person chili dinner operation, which we've done, Rod, for 17 years, to a totally virtual chili dinner. So think about it. We went from 8 o'clock in the morning to 9 o'clock at night. That's our typical chili dinner day, right? A lot of work going into that, to a 1 hour virtual chili dinner. Think about it. How do you do that? Not only how do you do that, but what are the financials? I mean, the whole point of this is to get people engaged and to raise money, right? It's hard to do in the middle of a pandemic, but we had one of our members step up, raise their hand and said, listen, let me help. And this person helped beyond measure, because I can tell you firsthand, this thing would not have happened had it not been for this individual in our club who raised their hand and said, I'll help. And so it gives me great pleasure to recognize this person who made this 1 hour, this virtual 1 hour of chili dinner, an amazing one. We raised almost as much as we raised the year before. Rod, if I'm not right, I mean, it's like dollars and cents short, but we're somewhere around $35,000 net. 1 hour, virtual. Think about it, yeah? Well, I'd like to recognize Scott Gardner. Scott, if you could come up. Thank you, Scott. Awesome job. Unbelievable. And this next individual is somebody who I met, one of the first people I met in 2016. And he was not bashful, very welcoming. I mean, that's why I joined this club. I mean, Ken Thompson brought me in, but the minute I walked in, a number of people, but this one in particular came up and we chit-chatted, introduced himself. And I'm like, wow, this is pretty cool. I think I might want to be a part of this. Got to know this person over the last several years very, very well. In particular this past year. And there's a lot of things that this individual does and has done over the years that really is mind-boggling to me, if you think about it. Both in terms of commitment, the blood, sweat, tears, and the impact of what they've brought to this club. It's truly remarkable to me. But I gotta tell you, this year was special in a lot of ways. And one of those ways was really figuring out as a club what we wanted to be. Where do we want to go? How do we want to get there? How do we want to measure how we're doing? Those are all important questions for any club. And so for us to finally be able to say that we have created a plan that is a living plan. It's not a static document that you put up and that's the way it is for the next 5 years. This is a plan that changes over time, but it keeps members up to speed on what's going on. Where are we at? What is your impact to this club? And what does that look like? It's not easy. This was all started by past president Reggie Scales back, if you remember, in January of 2020. We unfortunately had a issue pop up in March that sort of got us, we weren't able to complete it. We had one individual in this club that we're so fortunate to have that raised their hand and said, I'll help. And so what that meant to this club is we now have a 3-year strategic plan. We're still learning about strategic plan, all of us are. But the good news is it's giving us a roadmap. We've not had that before. And there's one person to recognize for that effort. Doesn't just happen. There's a lot of work that goes into these kind of initiatives. And it gives me no greater pride and joy than to recognize Mr. Rod Brooks as our Rotarian of the Year. Rod. Well done, Rod. Thank you so much for all you've done and all you'll continue to do. Awesome. We now get to turn to an award that is most meaningful. This is the Dick Ladd Award of Distinguished Service. Most everybody, I hope most everybody, and if you don't, we'll let you know what this is all about, but it's a special award. It's a high-level award. It is, in its own way, a Hall of Fame award. And it recognizes individuals who have contributed a lot over a long number of years. This award is the highest club recognition granted by the Rotary Club of Cary. It celebrates those individuals who have provided extraordinary service to the Rotary Club of Cary over a substantial portion of his or her period of membership, and whose professional and individual conduct exemplifies the ideals of Rotary. These worthy individuals have inspired and encouraged others in their service of Rotary. And so it's time to reflect, I think, a little bit here, because this individual has meant personally a lot to me, and I know a lot to everybody in this room, and in a lot of different ways. And that's why I remember when this award was first unveiled, and how meaningful it meant to the first recipients that received this award. This is not an annual award. It's not and that's not taking away from any annual awards. It's just there's a distinction between the Dick Ladd Award of Distinguished Service and why it comes with such a high premium. And I couldn't be any more thankful than to have Janet here tonight and to have John Andrew. Thank you. I know we don't need to tell you how much John meant to all of us, because he did. And so I think that it's important to talk through just a little bit, just a few things here, because I could go on for the next hour, longer than that, quite honestly. Everybody knows John, so, and what he's meant to this club, what he's meant to Rotary. So a couple things here. This award is going to John Miller. And John's been instrumental. He was instrumental in creating this award. This was a passion of his because he wanted an award that would recognize people in a different way. And that's exactly what this award does. John was an indispensable participant in the creation and updating of our bylaws. John was like a pit bull. He'd call me, where do we stand on the bylaws? And that was very helpful to me. And John was the most important player in getting those bylaws done along with Bob. John made I didn't know this, John made a contribution to the Rotary Foundation to award a Rotarian in Bermuda for his first Paul Harris Fellow Award. And I heard that and I'm like, sounds like John. I mean, perfect, right? That's John. I mean, it's amazing. John, of course, led the efforts as videographer for the 50th anniversary of the Rotary Club of Cary. Obviously, he spent countless hours interviewing key players. This video was debuted on the final night of the celebration in the auditorium of the Cary Arts Center. Obviously, you can find it on YouTube. Good news is I've talked to John Andrew. He's got the proprietary interest on this whole effort. We're going to get that as a club, so that'll become part of our club, which is important. But John Andrew, now, we talked earlier. Now, I think you mentioned that you played a little role in this, but I don't recall your dad mentioning that. Is that okay? All right. Just to be clear, no, we know John Andrew Wills, and John always gave you credit. Trust me, he always did, always did. John also managed the brick project for the Memory Cafe. He was instrumental in its creation. What a gesture. Rotarian of the Year. John was the graduate of the Rotary Leadership Institute, RLI. He'd bang on my desk every other week. Did you get your certificate yet? I'm working on it. I'm working on it. He would always keep us going in the right direction. Past club president, obviously. And he raised his hand this past year when we lost our president of the charitable foundation. We needed help. Guess what? John raised his hand. I'll help. I mean, there's nothing else that could be said. And so it gives me the greatest of pleasure to welcome Janet and John Andrew. If you could please come up and accept this award on John's behalf. I appreciate it.
Can't be my father's child and not say something. It's just impossible for him to not say something. I wasn't sure if I was going to speak tonight. I was given the option, and obviously here I am. If my dad were here today, he would literally be at a loss for words to receive this award, which we all know is very hard for him. And I just want to say that out of all the clubs and organizations that he belonged to. I think this is the one that he was most proud of. He thoroughly enjoyed being part of this club. And it showed, I mean, there was, I really don't remember too many other times that he would talk about some of the organizations that he was a part of on a regular basis outside of being part of this club. I always enjoyed assisting him or volunteering with him on certain projects, like the 50th anniversary video. Honestly, I did a lot of the work though. I'm just kidding. But I am very happy to share all that information with you guys. But I also have some of my best memories every Christmas volunteering at the Walmart for Salvation Army, ringing the bell. We would for so many years. I can't tell you how many years we would do it together, and he would always look forward to doing that with me. And I never really got a chance to tell him, but it was something I always really enjoyed as well. I thoroughly enjoyed. I never hesitated to join him on it, no matter how cold it was. Yeah, he really thoroughly loved and enjoyed this organization, this club. And I can tell just by having conversations with some of you guys as well. So with that, thank you so much. It's, yeah, thank you.
Mary's always ahead of me, never changes. I'd like to now thank our board members and each of our committees for their hard work this past year. And to Pat Hudson, who will be leading our speakers committee as chairman. Thank you, Pat, for all you do. Wonderful programs. David's got some big shoes to fill. We remind him of that every day. So I'd like to specifically recognize incoming President Bob Griffin, who has been instrumental in making our pivot to the Zoom hybrid format during this COVID year. He didn't miss one meeting and was always prepared to ensure we had flawless execution of our weekly meetings. That just doesn't happen. Again, no one asked Bob. He raised his hand. He said, "I'll help." Well, thank you, Bob, because we would not have been able to do what we did this year without it. Thank you, sir. I'd like to now thank, as my parting comments, each and every member of this club who's contributed to our efforts this past year. It's been all of you. You all did a fabulous job. It felt like at times, I was trying to think through an analogy, and I'll bear with me. The only thing I could think of was being on Space Mountain. I don't know why. Yeah, in the dark, up and down, when the drop was gonna happen. I couldn't come up with anything better than that, but I truly hope that at the end of it all, we all can smile and say we had a little bit of fun during this past year. That's what makes this club what it is. That's what it's all about. Thinking about that fun and how it translates into the impact of helping others. I'd like to humbly thank the Rotary Club of Cary, you all, for the fun opportunity of serving as your president this past year. It's been the greatest job that I'll ever have had the pleasure of serving you. I thank you all. And now, could I ask Mary Camp to come up to the podium? Oh, you're always in. Thank you, Mary. Mary, if you could please handle the installation of officers.
I'd like Bob Griffin to come forward, please. Robert J. Griffin Jr., you have been selected by the members of the Rotary Club of Cary to guide its affairs during this coming year. You have been entrusted with an important responsibility that will help shape our club's future. You have been elected to the office of President of the Rotary Club of Cary by its members. It is an expression of their confidence in you and your leadership. Bob, if you would please repeat after me. I, Robert J. Griffin Jr., do solemnly swear
I, Robert J. Griffin Jr., do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute the office of the President of the Rotary Club of Cary
that I will faithfully execute the office of President of the Rotary Club of Cary,
and that I will do the best to the best of my ability,
and I will do to the best of my ability,
give support and assistance to the District Governor and to Rotary International,
give support and assistance to the District Governor and to Rotary International,
and that I will uphold the Constitution and bylaws of our club.
and that I will uphold the Constitution and the bylaws of our club.
And I would ask the incoming officers and directors for Rotary year 2021-22 to please stand. You have been elected to important positions in the administration of the Rotary Club of Cary. This is an indication of your fellow Rotarians' esteem and confidence in all of you. They also believe you will uphold the high traditions of our club, that you will give the best of your executive ability to the betterment of our club and the carrying forward of the object of Rotary. Will you fulfill the responsibilities of your offices to the best of your ability and in accordance with the Constitution and bylaws of the club? If you are in agreement, please say, I will.
I will.
I hereby declare the new officers and directors installed and give President Robert Griffin Jr. the gavel as a symbol of the transfer of administration of this club. I share with you RI President-elect Shaker Mehta's quote, "Service is the rent I pay for the space I occupy on this earth, and I want to be a good tenant of this earth." Bob, directors and officers, we look forward to working with you to accept his challenge and to become change makers as we serve to change lives. Congratulations again. President Scott, where did you go? Oh, you're right there. Easy, come over here, please. You have led our club during an unprecedented time. Through your engaging leadership style, sense of purpose, sense of humor, and high expectations of all Cary Rotary Club Rotarians. We have continued to be people of action, exemplifying our motto, service above self. We have aided people and organizations in our community, both locally and abroad, to make a difference in their lives. Under your leadership, we have fulfilled what RI President Holger Knock asked us to do through his theme, Rotary Opens Opportunities. We have strengthened our leadership, helped put service ideals into action, and improved the lives of those in need. And so with the officers and directors of Rotary year 2020-21, please stand. Though you are retiring from the administration of your club, however, some of you are continuing to this year, I know, your continued active involvement in this club is extremely important and highly encouraged. I would like to leave you tonight with Rotary's vision statement. Together, we see a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change across the globe, in our communities, and in ourselves. Thank you all for your service and everything that you all in this room and those who are not here with us tonight do to make our club so successful. Thank you so much.
Don't go away, Scott. Because there's a couple more presents. Yeah, get the wine. That's good. And you know, that's an appropriate beverage today. Because there was a small but dedicated and passionate group that searched high and wide to find an appropriate recognition for you as an outgoing president. And so it's my pleasure to present to you the meal of the week. A cheeseburger. Can't wait. Yeah. It's been sitting a while. In all seriousness, Scott, I want to echo a number of the things that, you know, we have a saying on the board, +1. Right? Cuts through all that saying again what's already been said. And so all I can say is +1.
Wow.
Scott, for your leadership over the last year has been incredible. I kind of captured the many faces of Scott over the last year. And you know, as I thought and prepared my brief remarks tonight, I thought back, President Reggie was faced with a terrible unknown of the pandemic, and you spoke to the grace and leadership that he exhibited in helping our club deal with all of that uncertainty. You faced as large a challenge, but in a different way, which was, how do we continue to be a club and deal with changes? And so it strikes me that it was just 1 year ago that you stood, well, you stood at the lake at McGregor. That was the handoff with Reggie. But you stood behind the podium at McGregor Country Club for our first hybrid meeting. Now, I don't, you know, they say that 77% of statistics are made up on the spot. I'd have to say that we were one of the first clubs to get out and be meeting in a hybrid way. Reggie led us to meet online and to keep us together. Scott moved that forward. And as you can see, his look evolved over time as well. We spent some more time in virtual meetings, which gave Scott a chance to develop his chin lettuce. It reached a peak somewhere, I think this is about April, perhaps May, but then brought us back again to the point where we're all returning to meeting together. And to think about all of the accomplishments that you cited, and true to his spirit, he gave credit to everyone else but himself. To be sure, it took a club of 100 people and many others to accomplish what we accomplished in the last year, but it would not have been possible without the leadership, the understanding, the focus, the being fired up that you brought to every single interaction you had with me and with every member of the club. And so, Scott, I cannot thank you enough for the opportunity to succeed you as president of the Cary Rotary Club. And I want to thank you for creating a healthy, vibrant, and successful club into the future.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Bob.
You need to do
Because
something
I-
urgently.
Every meeting, I pretty much plan on screwing up at least one thing. So I need to fix this. There's one person I left out of my remarks. I didn't leave out, but I meant to do something that somehow I missed. So everybody knows how important their spouses, significant others are in this effort we're in. I just want to say Julie put up with me for 12 months, sometimes scratching her head, anyway. Without your support, without you letting me do what I wanted to do, that has helped me this entire year. And I'll be forever grateful for that. And so as a little thank you for all the hard work you put in to help me stay the straight and narrow, I would like to offer you this on behalf of the club.
Thank you, Scott, and thank you, Julie, for lending us, Scott.
Thank you for taking
this. We're glad we have. Well, I did want to think about, as I thought about my time to give you some remarks today, I was struck by something that I learned on my very first interaction with Rotary, which was the orientation, new member orientation. And there's a line in the orientation book that says, Cary is a Rotary town. And I'm humbled to recognize the fact that Cary is a Rotary town because of the legacy of the people in this room and the people that preceded us. It is astonishing to me to think that there were 57 other individuals over the last 58 years who had the opportunity to stand in the shoes that Scott is at. I stretched that metaphor in the wrong way. Stand in the shoes that Scott is now passing to me. I don't want your little shoes. But to think about the impact that this club has had over its 57-year history is mind-boggling to me. We look at the chili dinner and having contributed almost $500,000 in the last 20 years through that effort. The golf tournament annually contributing money to our club foundation, which can then be used to benefit the causes that we care about. reaching into our pockets individually as Rotarians and making contributions to the Rotary Foundation. It's been more than $500,000 contributed personally by the members of this club over its history. So to me, there's no question about the dedication to service, the caring in community, and the spirit that the members of this club bring every single week and every single day. And so I just want to thank the people that came before me and showed the way. People like Ralph Ashworth, John Hatcher, Tim Manning. See, I'm getting myself into trouble. Mary Cann, Pat Hudson. Countless people along the way that have helped build the foundation that allows me to stand on the shoulders of others. And most especially, and personally, to people like Reggie and Scott. I want to thank Leon Adams. I wouldn't be here without him. He sponsored me as a member of this club. And he helped me understand, along with all of those other people, what it meant to be a Rotarian, the difference between joining a Rotary and becoming a Rotarian. So people like him, John Rigsley, Tom Brooks, Howard Manning, John Miller, all personify for me and created a very clear image of what it meant to be a Rotarian and what I need to continue to aspire to on my journey towards achieving. We've got some great opportunities and challenges ahead of us. I know that each of the 57 people that preceded me will have two common phrases of advice, themes of advice. Number one, don't screw it up. I'm going to remember that. That's the headline that I'm going to remember. It's 57 years. Don't drive into the ditch. And the other is be brief. And so I will be brief in my commentary, but I think that as Mary referred to the Rotary theme for this year, serve to change lives, it so aptly speaks to what we've been all about throughout our history and what we as members have contributed to do as members of Rotary. So I'm excited to be president during a theme year where I just, hey, we're already doing some things. We don't have to change too much there. So great, cool alignment. And of course, there are a number of ways that we do that. And so I want to recognize that, you know, we create impact in our community, sometimes in very large scale ways. See, I gave away. Let me find it. Flawlessly, right? Is that what you said, Scott? Flawlessly. Right? We've got our large scale events, and we need to keep doing these large scale events. It's incredible to me the amount of resources that we're able to raise, the people in this room that are leaders in the community making contributions on behalf of their own companies. And so recognizing the impact of the chili dinner and the golf tournament are fantastic. But I also want to recognize that we have impact in smaller ways. Right? And so here I can see the Paul Harris Fellows, Matthew and Grayson, who've already received their Paul Harris Award by saving their pennies and making contributions, following Renee and Jesse's example, and making contributions and getting involved in the community through the Salvation Army. The smaller scale projects that we do, like that chair meal project that we did over the course of the last winter, helped brighten the lives of the people that we corresponded with. Interact, our district day of service was a huge, hairy deal. But what we did in terms of our contributions to Interact, you know, probably didn't match the scale of the chili dinner or the golf tournament, but it sure did have an impact. Same thing with our read a book and get a book. What a more intimate, there is no more intimate setting than a Rotarian and a learner reading through a book. And so one of my challenges to us going forward in the next year is to continue to be as focused on those small scale impacts, those individual people that we have an opportunity to influence and to find ways to do our pill drops, to do our, we can do projects that we can do, the meal packing that we did on a very small and local scale, but had a very large impact. So I want to challenge each of you as members of the club to think about what are the causes that you're engaged with outside Rotary? And how can we bring those to the club to help you leverage that impact? It's great to be able to get grants, district grants, international grants, and to leverage our money. How many times is it? Leon, I think you told me it's like 5.5 times. That's fantastic. But our ability to do things in a very tactical way locally is one thing that I'd like to focus on and contribute, encourage, because I know that there's more that we can do. All of that fits into our strategic plan. Oops, went ahead again. Shaking hands. One of the other things that we want to do is make sure that what we do aligns with, one of the reasons why I believe that we can come up with more of these project ideas to support is that our members told us that these are the areas that we're interested in personally. And so under Rod's leadership, as we've developed a strategic plan, and we'll do more moving forward, we set our priorities around education, hunger, and economic empowerment. And I'm really excited about what we'll be able to do there as we move forward. But we're also have members that are interested in housing, the environment, seniors. We've done initiatives and had programs that impacted in all of these areas as well. So again, I just encourage you to bring what you're passionate about to the club so that we can help find ways to support that effort. All right, so here's the next one that Shaker talked about. Each one, bring one, retain all. It's one of his challenges to the leadership. Tom, you've been 35 years of perfect attendance. I imagine you've heard that we need to grow the club speech 35 times. And we do, right? We all agree. All those new people can bring ideas and contributions to the initiative, to the areas of impact we want to try to work on. And so, yes, I would like us to be able to grow membership. I think that there are probably members in the community that maybe we don't know who should be members of this club. And so I'd like to look at ways that we can outreach to them. And so each one might bring one that we don't even know. Bring your friends. Each one bring one. Yeah, we'll do it in the literal way, but I think we can do it creatively as well. And what I don't want to forget is that while it's fantastic to be in a room with 125, Paul, I think we got a big audience here tonight, and it's so fantastic to have everybody back in the room together. But there are members of our club that are just not and haven't been engaged either because they have concerns about being in public and their health. And those members that continue to be engaged online are every bit as important to me as each one of us here, and I think they should be for all of us. I support their decision to make a good choice for themselves, but I want to encourage them to be engaged as they do that. But I also got to be honest with myself and say, even before it was a pandemic, there was a third of our membership that we haven't seen in more than a year and a half. And so I think we can take some steps. We need to do some outreach to those people as well. So each one bring one applies to people that are already members of our club too. And then we'll have a better opportunity of engaging as many as we can and doing all that we can as we retain our membership and continue to leverage everything. As I mentioned, it's an honor to be elected as your president. I didn't realize I was going to take an oath like that, Mary. I should have read the fine print before we got involved. I'm thankful for the committee chairs that will be part of the leadership team. I recognize that the work of this club gets done by the committees and by the members, certainly not by the officers, right, Scott? Right, and so I'm inspired by the people that I'm gonna have the opportunity to work with as board members, and I hope that you have continued to display the confidence and faith in them that you have all along. So thank you very much. I hope you've had a great evening, and I guess the only thing to do now is to ask you to please stand for the four-way test. Of the things we think, say, or do, first, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Looks like it.
Oh, there's a bag.
Yeah, well, we had it.